Howdy, folks. So, today we have a lot of things to talk about, or I do. Most recently, I got the Dark Magician. I'm calling him the Dark Magician 2s. I'll just talk about this briefly. There was a silent revision of the Dark Magician, and the salesman didn't even know about the revision. And on the screen right over down here, I'm pointing to it. Let me just put the cursor right over here. This is the measurement for the, I'm going to call it the Dark Magician 2, although it doesn't actually have a new name, which quite frankly, I don't like. I think that that's extremely annoying to have reviewers review a headphone and then just someone yanks the rug out from everyone and changes the tuning arbitrarily. I don't know if it's arbitrary, but based on feedback, sorry, let me get this a little closer to my face. Based on feedback, I think from some of the Asian reviewers, they wanted more treble, and they got it. So this is the Dark Magician, like I said, retuned without telling anyone. And this is basically a roller coaster right here. And let me just go over a few things real quick. So yes, I have my own recording rig up here in my little picture here. I can flip over to it. This is a 711 coupler, Dark Magician 2. I have settled on using Comply foam tips to measure all of my headphones because basically I use those most of the time to actually do my listening, and I do that. I am trying to align with 8K peaks because that at least makes my graphs comparable to other ones on the web. I am actually using down here, which you probably can't see. Let me just flip over. Let's see. Well, it's actually hidden. Anyway, that's a Mo2 Ultralight Mark V Pro audio recorder. And I had to buy a special adapter to get this microphone to work with it. It's actually a Rode 3.5-inch microphone adapter to XLR 48 volt phantom powered. Just in case anyone has, a 711 coupler and they want to use it with a pro style interface with XLRs, you actually have to buy this stupid little Rode adapter that provides, well, actually what it does is it downgrades the 48 volts to 5 volts, which is what this microphone needs. And actually, like typical microphones that are 3.5-inch would plug into an iPad or a computer microphone input need the 5 volts. Anyway, that adapter produces that. It's like $20 or maybe 25. It's just, actually, I had no idea I needed it. I tried to graph and I could not get this to work. Finally, after a lot of research, I figured out that. Okay, so I got my rig going. I have a Burson Playmate 2. I have the Mo2 Mark V Ultralight, and then a X-Duo TA20. Now that's just kind of like on my little setup right here. All those devices are, especially the Mo2 and the Burson, are flatline. You know, if you record something, it's perfectly flat. I did do loopbacks, so that is using the outputs from like the Burson and the TA20 and the Mark V into the recording just with a cable, not a microphone. So I'm just doing a loop back to make sure that in fact my interfaces are, flat all the way across the board. And in fact, they are not 100%. Generally, the Mo2 on the this is interesting, but the microphone inputs, they roll bass off about 1 to 2 dB around 20 hertz. It's not a lot, but it's enough to, if I'm doing measurements, it needs to be right. So I already worked around that, but I have a file, a calibration file that compensates for that small downgrade. But if I use the Burson, no problems at all. So cool. Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Dark Magician, I'm going to call it 2. So I think that some reviewers wanted more treble out of the original Dark Magician, which is now not available anymore. And I'm highly upset about that. That's the last I'll say of that. Anyway, this is also, quote unquote, the Dark Magician. And This is the graph on the screen here, and if I pull up the original Dark Magician graph, I've done a bunch of them, but like here's another one. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I just have to do this. You can kind of see that's the original, and this is the new one. And based on what I know of dynamic driver tuning, I believe that basically they put on a very much less dampened front bore damper on the new one. That's all these peaks. And whereas the old one, I am pretty sure has, I haven't ripped it apart, but it's got a damper on there. And the way I can kind of tell that is also the volume level goes up. If I leave all of my settings the same, the volume level goes up without the damper, which makes sense. The damper is dampening the sound, right, in a certain way. But just, interesting things. So, yeah. Not happy with the new tuning at all. And people ask me, is it good or bad or whatever? And the answer is it's not that good. No, it's kind of like a weird thin and thick at the same time. Maybe you might call some of these peaks details. I call them bad tuning, or really not much tuning at all. It just seems to me like they just removed the damper. And I don't know how much time it took them to achieve the tuning of the original, but I absolutely adore it. Everyone that I've recommended it to and bought it loves the set to death. No one sold any. It's like one of the most special sets ever. So yeah, going from this to this is it's upsetting, and especially since the older one is discontinued. Yeah. All right, so I did things. I actually was like, well, maybe I'll just stick a damper. I just have random dampers. I'll put one on the board tube. I did that, and it sucks. It smears the tonality enough to where it's noticeable, especially coming from this like naked graph right up here. I call it naked, but basically, very little dampening. So I can hear a little bit of smearing. Now on the original tuning, the original damper, I don't hear smearing. But with my dampers, I don't know what all is, the interaction here, but they suck and it didn't work. So no good on that. So, I'm thinking here like, okay, first off, I need to fix this because apparently you can't actually buy the original Dark Magician again. By the way, this video is going to be long and meandering, and you can just watch or not, whatever. So I wanted to fix the Dark Magician 2, and I wanted to do it in such a way that it was possibly even better than the original. And there's only one way I can think to do that. Now, since I just said that dampers, or at least the ones I have, tends to, I'm going to call it smear, soften, something like that. It blurs some of the range of, the detail that you're getting out of your sound. And thinking about it, actually, most headphones have some type of dampers, whether they're multi-bore or, really anything. Almost all of them have a damper. I actually don't know of much of anything that doesn't. I could come up with some examples, but they're rare and few and far between. And usually, without a damper, the tuning is rough as hell. In other words, sticking drivers in a shell and just having them replay sound correctly is unlikely at best. So we have a Dark Magician 2, highly undampened, the green graph. And so I thought about that. And by the way, there is a bass difference on the OG, the original, to the new one. And I do believe all they did was they added a little bit of a higher damping front vent value. So it just keeps more bass in the front tube, right? It doesn't let it escape through the vent. Cool. I mean, if I could pick, I would pick the older style probably. But again, this is what we have to work with, and I can't poke through that vent because it's right on the bore tube. So it would be very difficult to poke through it and then stick another damper on it. So that's like a no-go. Anyways, I'm meandering here to get to the point, which is that after thinking about this for a long time, I'm getting used to Room EQ Wizard, that's this guy right here, to do my measurements with my 711 coupler. So I'm getting used to that, and then I'm getting used to some of the features. And so let's see if I can pull this off on video, right? All right, so let's just do a recording of a headphone, a measurement, right? So let me get all my crap out here. Here's a little measurement window. I'm probably going to forget something, so let's just check our levels. All right, I don't know if you can hear that. So what actually is going on is I have the right headphone outputting the test signal, and that's actually got the left headphone in the coupler. So if we do this, we check the levels, and now we're seeing that the correct headphone is producing sound through the coupler. Cool. This is part of one of the tricks. But anyway, let me just, now I don't really have any of the levels matched super well here. Let me just do a couple little odds and ends. Let's see, check our levels. I mean, that's fine, I guess. Let's just give that a shot. So I'm doing a live recording of this headphone right here in the coupler measurement. So this is doing a sine wave sweep. I usually try and be kind of quiet. It's a 10.9 second sweep. And we end up with the purple measurement here. Now, what I just want to say is, let me just get rid of a couple of these. I have, well, that's a little hard to see. But anyway, I haven't actually depth matched. So as you're doing measurements, you need to insert or push deeper or pull out the IEM in the coupler to match the 8K peak. And according to this here, I didn't actually hit it. I think that means I need to put it in further, probably. Anyway, the 8K peak is not on this, so I didn't match it perfectly, but that's not really important. I mean, I could. I'd probably shove it in more or something. Could do one more. Yeah, I overshot it that time. So the peak moved backwards a little bit there, or I don't know, whatever, closer to 8.5 or something. So anyway, you get the point. You got to screw around with that till you get it just right. Okay, so also the tips matter. I'm using foamies. If you use really anything, the graph changes. So I suppose just be consistent, or at least I am going to be consistent. You can use, anything, but just keep doing it on every headphone. All right, so that's some basics on there. We got some measurements and stuff. Now, this is an EQ window, which is this button right up here. And that brings up this. Okay, now, I also have this measurement of the, sorry, that's this one, the Dark Magician, which, let me just, this one here, right? Get rid of these. So that's the Dark Magician 1. That's its graph. It's really amazingly pretty graph, and it sounds amazing as well. All right, so what we do is, this is the sort of the special sauce. We're making one headphone into the other. We save this measurement, so you're basically just going to go do an export, find the measurement here, which is, what is it, this one? And you export it and give it a name. And so that in this case is the Dark Magician left, right? Now, once you've got that measurement, you actually go over here to the preferences window, and you go to, so you have like, this is where you pick your sound card and whatnot. Here's our house curve. So you browse and you pick your measurement that you just did, and that's now quote unquote your house curve. And now, if we go over to this guy right down here, we see that we have a, let me just close this and bring it back up. Yeah, so this right here, it's a little hard to see, but this says house right next to it, and that's our house curve. And, whoa, what in the hell happened there? Yeah, I feel like I did that wrong. Let me just do that one more time. Jesus. So, might have been this. Use a logarithmic interpolation. Probably didn't. I may have clicked that on accident. Let me look here. Friggin' weird. Load it again. Sometimes I feel like Room EQ Wizard is a little buggy, and so like occasionally I gotta close it and reopen it. I don't really know what that's about. Huh. What in the hell? I've never seen that happen before. Let's see here. Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. I didn't notice. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of settings to this, which is kind of why, yeah, I'm going over it. All right, so you want to have this on none. No target. We're not going for like any kind of curve of any kind, you know? Well, I mean, any kind of like generic curve. We're making our own. All right, so here's our target. Yeah, I could shrink that and zoom in and out. But there's a button here that we need to do, which is, I think it's calculate target level. Yeah. So we click on that button and that like matches the overall SPL level. So, I mean, this is the Dark Magician 1 graph. Here's our target, which is, again, the house target. I just basically told Room EQ Wizard that that's my target curve. So you can like toggle it on and off. All right, now we're going to click on Dark Magician 2. Whoops, I always screw that up. All right, so here's I'll just go back to like, that's actually a graph that I know is good because I spent a bunch of time on it. This one, making sure that 8K peak was there. All right, so then we can turn this on here. There's our 2 curves. We have the Dark Magician 2 and 1. And so my idea was basically this. It seems to me like the theoretical best thing that could possibly ever happen for a headphone is to have absolutely no damping. So the driver is going naked through air to your eardrum and no damping in the middle of that. Nothing. Naked sound hitting the eardrum. And of course, like I just said, you can't tune this. Like tuning drivers that way is damn near impossible. So probably in the end, like some years down the road when they can miniaturize, you know, circuitry, stick that into a headphone, we're going to end up with something like this. But for now, so let me go down here and do the final thing. So it's like match response to target. And it's like, does all this computational jazz whiz bang, holy crap. Probably your computer needs to be somewhat fast to do it, I guess. And, all right, so let me just turn the, so that's the Dark Magician 1, or sorry, 2. There's our filtered, and here's our predicted. So, I mean, this is the compensation, and here's our predicted value for Dark Magician 2. That's what it should end up like with the parametric EQ applied. Now you're going to go, well, what's the EQ? All right, so let's look at it. By the way, in terms of these settings over here, I should have done this immediately. Let me do it again. All right, match range. We need to have, so to hit the lowest parts of the frequency range, say around 20, to hit them perfectly, you need to have this, your PEQs has to go down to 10-ish so it can have something to work with. So usually I have this at 10, and then to match all the way to 20,000, although arguably you don't need to do that, maybe like 15, but you could go 22. You do need to be measuring at 48 kilohertz, sorry, 48, spaced out. You need to be recording at not 44.1, but 48 to be able to capture that, sorry. Individual max boost, I do have this at 18. I think if you just pull this out of Room EQ Wizard, it's not enough. Max boost I have at 10. You might have to alter these numbers depending on which target curve you're going from to. But this works for this particular scenario. Flatness target 1, I don't want any, like you can go like, you know, this is whether or not it matches it well. Then you want to have both of these on, allow narrows, and max Q above 200 hertz. Just basically give this thing as much power as it possibly can to EQ, and match to target. Let's see. What did I do? Oh, I got to clear it. Let's do reset filters. Yes. Then target and match. Wait, what? Speaker. What? See, I screwed something else up. I'm not sure what the hell I did. Let's see. Calculate target level. Yeah, I completely broke that somehow. What did I do wrong? Let's see. Manuals. It seems like this was like 75, I think. Maybe I don't know if I clicked something on accident. It's possible that I can't do what I just did. Let's X this out. And then we'll do Huh. Weird. Figures. Can't get the goddamn thing to work right. Anyways, let me just do this. So, that is actually, wait, what did I do here? Let me do this. Just start over a little bit. All right, so we're going back to that. We're turning everything else off. Get rid of that measurement there. Then we go to EQ. So, let's see, we will clear that. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's what I fucked up. God. 22,000. All right. Sorry, fellas, folks. Let's see. Let me see, reset. Yes. There we go. So, yeah, be careful with those frequencies. Like I said, there's like a million buttons here to get right. Anyways, so yeah, 10 to 20,000. Okay, 20,000 is apparently the limit. Don't even mess with that. Okay, so sorry about all that. But yeah, in the end, we have, so that's below 10. Don't even worry about that. I don't think it matters. But yeah, so we have our EQ match. And if we go to our EQ filters, it just spit out this, which is, let's see, it got up to, holy crap, 19 PEQ bands. Okay, sorry about all that. But yeah, so that did that in real time. We just matched Dark Magician 2 to Dark Magician 1. And again, Dark Magician 2 is completely underdampened. So in theory, this should give us the most fidelity possible. Absolutely. So what do we do with this, right? Okay, so J River Media Center, right? In this particular program, we have some really awesome stuff. And one of those things is a parametric equalizer. And so that's this. So essentially what you do is you just go in here and you add a band and you do adjust a frequency. And so yeah, add this top one over here, frequency, and then you just match that, right? So like you just start at the top, right? So like 10, and then bandwidth is Q2, and then gain of, right, negative 4.8. And you just add all those bands in there, right? Okay, cool. I am not wanting to do what I just did. Should I remove that? Yes. Okay, done. Now, so that basically means that anything you play in JRiver is going to have that EQ, this crazy, insane parametric EQ built in. So at this point, I can play back the Dark Magician 2s and have the exact same, or very, very damn near the same frequency response as the Dark Magician 1. Difference being 2 has no damper. And in the end, oh, this is better. It's so incredibly clear and open. It is a new experience for myself listening to headphones. I've never heard anything like it before in my life. And I know that's a lot of hyperbole, but if you think about it, it logically makes sense. This driver, I am pretty sure, is hitting my eardrum naked, nothing in the middle of it, no dampers. And now with the tuning that I really, really enjoy, we have exceeded what I thought was possible out of an IEM. Let me just go over one more advanced topic. Now, after I did all this, I pretty much crapped my pants, and I was thinking, like, I need to like really actually verify this. So I need to actually measure this Dark Magician 2 with the parametric EQ applied. And then I realized that Room EQ Wizard can't do that. Like, it can't do the frequency sweep with the parametric EQ enabled. Like, it just doesn't do it. So it's like, oh, that sucks. What I did was this, and it's kind of well, it's a good idea. Okay, we'll just get rid of all this. RumiQ Wizard. We're going to go to, oh man, I'm going to forget the button here, but generator? Yeah, generator. So what we do is we generate a sweep, measurement sweep right here. You can do that whatever you want in terms of, 0 to 24,000, whatever. And then you save it to a file, right? And a WAV file. And then I outputted this WAV file right here. So that is basically the test tone that RumiQ Wizard outputs to do all of its measurements. Then I load that particular file right up here in JRiver, right? And then I go to the measurement window, and this is kind of like the tricky part. It's not tricky, but you just basically flip to the opposite headphone, like the one that you're not actually supposed to be listening to. So what that means is when you check the levels, hold on. Did I get it right? Yeah, I did. It's actually picking up the other headphone. It's so loud. Sorry about that. But anyways, so you pick the wrong one or just disconnect the headphone or something, right? Then you do this, literally. You hit start and then start up here. And there is some sound bleed going on. I just did that real time. Yeah. So, sorry. All right. So this is our final graph, and this is our target, the red one up here. And as you can see, we went from the green to the purple. And that works. Holy smokes. So you can punch in parametric EQs in JRiver, and you can measure them and see how they affect the headphone. In any case, I'm going to get this 8K area. By the way, the 711 couplers are like wacky in this area, so I probably need to do something to fix this area, get that like dead on. But I think you can see that these graphs match, and this is, at the end of the day, at the end of all of this wacky, crazy, mad scientist insanity, I turned the Dark Magician 2 into a better Dark Magician 1, and it's absolutely like stunning. One of the best, if not the best headphones I've ever heard in my life. Right on, folks. A lot to digest, and I'll talk about other things later. Bye.